Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. It is Tuesday, Tech Tuesday here at INE Live, and I am your host, Catherine Brown. We are so glad you're with us on this Tuesday. We're really, really excited today to have our very own Lola Carreno on the stream. You know her better as Cyber Lola. She's always in the chat, always talking, and very, very involved in the community. So we are super excited to dive in to meet Lola, get to know her a little bit better, and really answer your questions as well. So I'm sure a lot of you guys have questions for her. Before we get started, as we do each time we stream here on INE Live, want to let you know we are streaming live right now across many social media platforms, including LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe with the notifications turned on for whichever platform you're using so that you can stay in the loop when we do go live. We, of course, want you to get involved, talk to us, talk to others. We'd love to see those relationships develop over chat. I love Bob saying in there, the interview everyone has been waiting for has finally arrived. We all cannot wait to get to know Cyber Lola a little bit better. So yeah, talk to us, talk to others, talk to each other. We have a team monitoring chat. If you have a comment, drop it in there. If you have a question, go ahead. Do us a favor, drop a Q in the beginning of those questions so we can find those easily. We'll get to as many as we can today. And if you forget, Cyber Lola will remind you to put a Q in the beginning of that. You know she will. We are now ready to bring in Lola Carreno. Lola, thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you so much, Catherine. Hello, everyone. Super happy to be here. Sorry to come in laughing, but the cue before the questions always puts a smile on my face. It's a weekly job that I really appreciate.
Oh, it is great. It is awesome. You know, every time you do that, I always chuckle a little bit, just knowing you and knowing your personality, and you're just a very funny person and a fun person. And then I always see that come up, and I'm like, oh no, nobody's getting away with asking a question without a cue. Lola's on it, right? Lola's on it.
Well, it was explained to me that that's the rules of the of the stream. So I am the first one to try to follow and enforce them. After all, security people have to be enforcing security and rules.
Don't you know it? Don't you know it? So I apologize. I'm having a few audio issues here today. So if you're getting a delay, we're trying to work those out behind the scenes. But Lola, as we welcome you in here, I want to give you I want to give our audience a little background on you, on who you are, and kind of what you're all about. Lola is a cybersecurity engineer here at INE, based in Tokyo, Japan, where it is about, what is it, 2 in the morning there, Lola? So this is real dedication here.
Time.
Lola has a strong interest in penetration testing, networking, and cloud security. Lola has more than 20 professional certifications and credentials. I don't know how many years I stopped counting at 20 because I was running out of time, but those include the EJPT as well as many others. Many others, including specialties like ethical hacking, MITRE attacks, and pen testing from organizations like Attack IQ, Pentester Lab, LinkedIn, Cisco, and of course, INE. And she is this close, she says, completing the INE Certified Cloud Associate, the newly released ICCA,
yes.
which
I really want to get into it, but I have been busy with work, and work comes a little bit first for me than my own personal certifications. I will get to that. It's something that I've been closer. I'm sorry, go on. I think Catherine might be experiencing some audio issues, but they are gonna be fixed fast.
All right. I think we're back on it now. Lola, can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
Awesome. All right. I was having some major delays, so I apologize for that, but awesome. Okay, I think we're back now. All right. Let's see. Here we go. All right. Lola, right off the bat, want to get into, first of all, want to say thank you. You're always in the stream. We've talked about that. You're always talking about the queue, but just a big thank you from me and from the entire INE Live team for being in the stream every week and for doing that moderation.
Oh,
and doing all the
it's
great
my
things.
pleasure. I take a little bit of a break from my security obligations and tasks, and I go just have fun in the chat and interact. It's awesome. It's all fun, and I love doing it.
Well, we love having you there. Absolutely. We love having you there. So big thank you to you from the entire team. And I want to just get into a little bit about what you do here at INE. You've been here a couple years now. I'm trying to remember exactly how long you've been here, but it's been a couple of years.
Does it look like I have been that long? I wish. I started in July of 2000. I started in July of 2021. So it's like 9 months. Yes.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yes.
It seems longer than that. It feels like you've always been here.
Because I have been involved with INE before I started, so maybe that gives you the impression that I have always been an employee of INE. Right? Being an employee of INE, I started in July of 2021, so 9 months.
Okay, well, there you go. I said 2 years, so 9 months it is.
Well, we'll talk again when I make my 2-year work anniversary. Then we will celebrate.
Sounds fair. We'll have to have you back on the stream for that, for sure.
Yeah, I just invited myself. See that?
Perfect. That's why we love you, Lola. That's why we love you. You're welcome here anytime, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, let's talk about what you do on a daily basis. What is your role here within the organization, and what do you do every day?
Well, I'm a cybersecurity engineer, and I work in many areas of our cybersecurity posture. I work with compliance. I work with vulnerability assessments and risk assessment and things like that, like trying to cover our base security-wise.
So dig into that a little bit. What do you mean when you say you cover our base security-wise? Let's get specific and talk about some of the things that you do on a daily basis.
Yes, our company has an infrastructure, okay? So this infrastructure needs to be analyzed and needs to be secure. That's the purpose. When it comes to it, the purpose of the security team is to protect the business. So for this, there are many measures that need to be done. So it can be vulnerability assessments. We need to be compliant under many frameworks. We need to have audits. So lots of things, lots of fun.
Lots of things. I mentioned the certifications and the credentials and everything. How much education do you need to get into a position like the one that you
are? Well, to be honest, I think it's important to be knowledgeable on the basics for any person who is considering a cybersecurity career. It might be very tempting to just jump on, like cybersecurity is very big. It's a field that has so many aspects, so many roles in it. But either through social media or movies, red teaming has become very popular, especially ethical hacking. Mm-hmm. And that's usually how people are presented. That's how I know about all this world was through this, and it's very tempting. Okay, I saw that there's a nice film or series that the guy is like hacking for a living, and it's very easy to get tempted to, how do I learn hacking? But if you like all the foundation that is needed for you to be a successful professional, you will be always having to. It's a gap that you will have to come back eventually. So it's the same as building a house with a bad foundation. You know, the building can be pretty, but if you don't have a solid foundation, you will, on the long run, you always have some kind of issue. So I would say IT basics, computer networking, Linux. We do so many things in Linux, so you have to have a solid knowledge of Linux and go from there. Once you feel that you are comfortable with IT basics, networking, Linux, then you can go forward and focus your studies on the cybersecurity. And it's another thing that I kind of observe, like being active on the community. Is that some people they want to be pen testers or being, but they don't exactly know what cybersecurity is, what the job. There are so many roles, so I think it will be super beneficial to make sure that you research each role of cybersecurity and what those roles entitle. What does a cybersecurity engineer do? What does a pen tester do? What a digital forensics professional does? You know, that's interesting too, and go from there. That will how I would advise anyone.
Yeah, Loom Gashi asked a question, and I want to get your thoughts on this. How much network programming background do we need in order to become a successful pen tester?
Programming, as in programming languages, like knowing how to code, I wouldn't say. On the long run, I think it's helpful, but it's not something. I think that there is this image. Oh, I need to know how to code. I need to know a programming language to be in cyber, and I don't believe that's the case. It might be helpful. It's like an extra skill on your long run. That most definitely, if you know how to code, it will be helpful, but it is not a requirement. It is not, is nothing like, oh, if I don't know how to code, if I am not proficient in a coding programming language, so I cannot be in cyber. That is absolutely not the case.
So it sounds like, you know, what you're saying is it's relatively open to a lot of things, right? You can have a lot of different backgrounds and still have a successful career in cyber.
Oh yes, because what people should understand. Obviously, you have the technical side of a cybersecurity job when you are on a terminal running all kinds of things, like a tech professional. But cybersecurity is not only being technical. You have a whole other area of this field that you need to have a business understanding. You need to go through many frameworks, and it's reading, it's knowing compliance, and there are many frameworks that if you want to go. So it, everyone has this image that being in cybersecurity requires you to be technical, but it's like a whole group of skills. You, if you're technical, great, you're a tech, but you your business skills are very well welcomed. If you have a background in law, cyber law, huge. um so yeah, it's not only being technical.
A lot more that goes into it than just
yeah,
the technical stuff. Yeah.
exactly. And soft skills are extremely important, because people have, again, this image that I feel that is shown through films and series, that the cybersecurity person is the hacker that is always behind the screen, does not talk to anyone, and is like hacking 24/7. And that is not the case. And I know it's hard. You see many people who are way better than me that say this in so many streams and events, but it's hard to believe until you yourself are in this world doing it professionally, not only studying and you don't have still a job. So you listen what they're saying, but maybe you don't believe it very much until you finally get your job and you realize that yes, of course, being on the job is in the computer, so of course you're on the computer, but it's not. That's part of it. You need to learn how to efficiently communicate is huge. Not only externally with like maybe your company's clients or maybe yeah, but efficiently communicate internally too with your coworkers. I mean, you're not alone. There is a team. Unless you are doing like some freelance job that you are is like a job that is only you, then yeah, you can be on your computer only, like not talking to anyone. But as long as you're a team and the goal is to efficiently complete a task, you need to learn how to communicate efficiently, and that can be extremely difficult. It is for me. I'm still
Yeah,
a work in
we had
progress.
Lily Clark on the stream last week, and she was talking a lot about the importance of working with a team. And you know, here you are saying the same thing, and it really is hitting home to me that it's a very collaborative position.
Yes, it is. Indeed, and it's not even within the cybersecurity team that you're in. The likelihood that you're gonna be collaborating with other teams within your organization is huge. So, for example, if you are a cybersecurity engineer, but you might be contacted by the sales team, maybe there is a B2B deal going on that you need to give your security expertise assistance, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So you are gonna collaborate for this with the sales team. Maybe on your own assessment you found some kind of vulnerability, so you are going to contact the IT team. You need to
Mm-hmm.
work with the developers towards remediation for whatever issue you found. Yeah, communication is key, and that is
Communication
something
is key.
yes, absolutely. Communication. I think as long as you're not alone, the organization is not you, and you work with other people, which I would say that is like 99% of the cases. When you get a job, you're in a company, you have coworkers, you're not alone. And the ultimate goal is to work towards your business. So you need to learn how to efficiently collaborate with many other teams that might not be your own. Getting along is also key.
Getting along. Yes.
Trying your best to.
Right. Being just a person who can get along with people generally.
Exactly. Be
so
respectful of people's time. Very important.
Yeah. I want to get to this part of this because this is what I've been so excited to talk about with you for weeks since we've been having you since we had you scheduled on the show. So what a lot of people may not know is that Lola is obviously a huge cyber whiz right now, very, very successful, but you started out as a ballerina, a professional ballerina, which I find fascinating. And your entire journey has been this odyssey of, twists and turns. And I just want to let the audience in on that a little bit as to where you started, how your journey went, and how you ended up where you are now, because I think a lot of people can relate, not necessarily because they're professional ballerinas, but because everyone, and I feel like it's particularly in tech or in information security, people start here and then there's all these weird like left turns, right turns, and then they end up in some position that they never imagined themselves in. So, I just wanted to get to know you a little bit better and have our audience get to know you a little bit better. But you were born in Israel, right? So take us through your first, your first stage of life here and how you ended up becoming a professional ballerina.
I started very, very early in life. I started when I was 3 years old. And almost at the same time, I started studying music as well. And as things progressed, I knew that was the thing that I wanted to be doing the rest of my life, you study music. I don't know, like right now, I don't know if it's still a requirement, but in my time it was. You need to understand the music to dance on it. You so I studied music at the same time that I studied ballet. Uh, so yes, I went through the years like this. I graduated high school, and I was never the kid thinking, oh, now what college I'm going to, what career I'm going to choose. There was nothing of that. Even though my high school biology and chemistry teachers created a campaign to make me go to med school because I loved yeah, biology and chemistry were my best subjects. But I was just too involved with ballet. It was like basically my life. So I went through with it. I turned pro, and I was in a very nice, very high point of my career until an unfortunate December day when I had to take a ride with a co-worker from the theater from the company, and we got involved in a very bad car accident. And I was 6 months in the hospital plus 2 years of rehabilitation. It was like a near death experience. And I think for me, well, yes, of course, the physical part was really bad, but to me that wasn't the worst. To me, what was the worst was that my purpose in life ended in a second. I was lost. As as I was working to, of course, be on my feet again physically, but I felt empty. It was, I don't know, I went through a very hard period emotionally and mentally speaking, and I just left the country. As soon as I was on my feet, I couldn't stay there anymore, so I just went a little bit to Europe to find myself and see what I was going to do next in life. In this period of time, I lived in 3 different countries, not doing anything. And that there was when I met my husband. He was a person who was extremely supportive in the lowest period of my life, and we ended up getting married. And that's the only reason that I'm here in Tokyo, because we moved after we got married. But life here was very different, not only a whole new country that I had no idea what it was all about, but also financially speaking, I had to go get a job. But what a person who has been doing ballet since 3 years old, almost exclusively, it's someone who doesn't know how to do anything else. Let's be honest. So it was very confusing for me. So I just got a regular 8 to 5 job that paid a salary, but it was boring because it was nothing that would like give me the same. I was craving the same satisfaction that I know my whole life, that was like growing, dedicating myself to something, and that wasn't doing it. And anyways, I had a conversation with my husband, and he was like, oh, you like computers so much, why don't you do something with the computer? And yes, because I always had computers in my life, but as a hobby, like something that if I had time I would be on the computer. I loved it. My father was an engineer. He developed car engines for a big car manufacturer, so he gave me my first computer when I was very small. But I never ever ever imagined that I would be making the computer my career. That was not in the plans. But I was like, okay, but in my head, a computer was something that you went to college to, got some kind of degree in computer science or something like that. It went from there. I'm like, I just turned 30. I am too old. I can't do this. But I started researching anyways. I didn't have anything else better to do. And that's what when I saw this same thing. Oh, you can do hacking for a living. I was like, that's that really? So I went further researching about it, and I got introduced to the world of cybersecurity. And I have a very it's in my personality. Then when I am very interested in something, I obsess over it. I want to know as much as I can. So I started going deeper what it is, what And at the same time, I started studying. And after watching many videos that were available to me, I understood that I needed to have a certain understanding of all the foundation that is required for a cybersecurity career. So fine, I started studying. I had a full-time job at the time. It was a job that had nothing to do. Okay, I used the computer, but it was nothing to do with cybersecurity. I would get back home, eat some dinner, take showers, and be until like 1, 2 in the morning studying that every day, weekends, days off, forever. And I was already like talking to people, and I met someone who was studying for a certain certification that when this person told me about it, I thought that was the greatest thing. It was a certification called EJPT. Who would have known that time that I would be at INE? But anyways, so I I thought it was the greatest thing. I was like, how do I get my hands on this certification? So the person said, you sign off, you can sign for the free starter test at ine.com. So I went there, I created my account, and I was sold. Because up until I joined INE, I was studying already. I went through the whole CCNA course. I went through many of the IT fundamental courses. I had my fundamentals in order, and I was taking another ethical hacking focused course. But signing at INE was kind of like the first time that I felt that I had some kind of like formal education that provided me with a structure. And that was incredibly important for me because I am the type of person that even though I might sometimes be a little weird and do things my own way, I like having a strong structure that I can follow, and this structure leads me to an ultimate goal that is something that I want to achieve. It helps me very much to keep focused, and that was what I did. I did many other things at the same time. I did not only study at INE. I used other platforms to reinforce what I was learning in the INE training and the PTS training, and then I was done with it. But after I was done with it, I think it's not exclusive to me. I have some serious self confidence and low esteem issues. So I just was afraid of taking because I don't like failure very much. So I was afraid of taking the test. But talking to people, I was already at this point very active in the cybersecurity community, and people knew that I was studying for this, and I was basically forced to take the certification at a certain day, a certain hour. And I was like, oh, okay, great. So I went, and I thankfully passed. So that I still am not very convinced, but I mean, it gave me the confidence to go from there. And from there was when I started going beyond and studying other courses and taking taking other skills. And then I had an opportunity to become an intern for, I think you know this person, Neil Bridges.
Sure, very familiar with Neil Bridges here.
I had the opportunity to be his intern for his cybersecurity consultant company, and that was an amazing opportunity. And for the first, I had been a follower, and I was in Neil's cybersecurity community now for a certain time. And like I had already listened to many streams where he spoke of the many areas of cyber and everything. But it's what I just told you. You listen to people, and yeah, okay. But maybe you don't believe them very much. But once, okay, I got in, I have the job. And he was so awesome because up until then, I was exclusively studying pen testing, if you would. That's what I thought. I want to be a pen tester, and that's what I spent many, many, many days, weeks, months studying only that. But with my internship with Neil, he exposed me to a whole new side of cyber. And then I present to you another skill, if you can call them, that I find extremely important for any professional, which is to keep an open mind. Because maybe you can like hacking is cool. There's no question about it. It's very cool. But keep an open mind. If you keep an open mind, you might find many other skills, be exposed to them if you have the opportunity, either through your job or your internship or your college or wherever you are. And you might find that you love many things that you might not even know if you didn't keep an open mind to be exposed and just do them. And that, I think that's the biggest take that I took from Neil's internship. He gave me an opportunity to explore some other areas of cyber that I wasn't even familiar with them. And I found out that I actually like them. And after this internship, I got the opportunity to be here at A&E. And that was when the whole world opened to me, you know? And since I have been here, I still keep an open mind. And now it's through my job, I feel that keeping an open mind too, I found out that I like, for example, cloud security. There was something that I wasn't even thinking way back when I was so focused on like web application pen testing and such. I love cloud security. It's awesome. It's fun. Infrastructure as code is super fun. And I was exposed to that and I said, okay, let's learn it. Turbo learn it because it is part of my job and I need to be proficient in it like really fast and try to keep up. So yeah, I think that's about it.
First of all, I've heard this story a number of times. I've read it a couple times, and pardon me, I'm getting a phone call. But every time I talk to you and every time I hear your story, it is just, I sit here in absolute amazement, not only from what you did and how you went about it, but just the enthusiasm and the inspiration that you bring, and your attitude, just never ever stopping, just continuing to figure out a way, right? Figure out a way to make it through, to put one foot in front of the next, to just pivot your life around. I mean, it sounds like it was a journey for you, right? Like it wasn't easy, right?
No, it wasn't. It was not easy. I think for the sake of time, I didn't go into many details that maybe are not even that interesting for whoever is listening. But yes, absolutely, it was not like the way I told you. Oh, no, later I did that. No, it was it was not like this. It was like this.
Yeah, and I think once you're successful, it's easy to look back and say, oh, well, the road was easy for such and such, or especially looking at someone else's life. But I think you're a great illustration of it's really not easy for anybody. It's difficult for people in different ways, but success really is easy for anyone.
No, it is not easy, but maybe the harder you work at it, the greater it feels when you achieve it. I mean, if it was just handed to you, it would be okay, great, next. Of course, I am ambitious. I feel very accomplished when I finally get to do something, and I'm like, okay, next. But it is very satisfying, and it's something that I think, due to my background in a career that require my total dedication, patience, discipline, and consistency. And I think these are very good qualities to have in cyber as well, because you need a lot of consistency, a great deal of patience, not only with yourself, but with others as well. So I think and that's one of the things that got me, that what maybe was what made me decide to want this career after spending a while, like researching it and studying it, because it gave me the same satisfaction. Maybe in my past career, I was an artist. I used my body, you know. Now I use my head, but it's also something that required my consistency, my dedication, discipline, and patience. So it gives me maybe a little bit different, but it is the same satisfaction. That's why I'm still around.
Yeah, it's so funny that you mentioned that. I mean, that literally the next question that I thought of while you were talking is, what are the similarities between being a professional ballerina and being a professional cybersecurity engineer? And on their face, you wouldn't think that there are many similarities, right? But it sounds like there are.
Oh, yes, they are. Yes, there are. I would say that, well, for those who don't know, maybe by just watching it on TV or wherever, the ballet world is incredibly competitive. And unlike cybersecurity, there is something that you can start at any age. Imagine, I had just turned 30. I just thought I was too old. That's not the case. I learned later that you can start at any age. In ballet, you're not going to start to train to be a ballerina 30 years old. At 30 years old,
No,
you're maybe in the peak of your career already with your head in retirement. But it's something that you start very early. You need a certain body type. You need to mold your body to do things that the human body is not supposed to be doing in a natural way, and that obviously starts very early. So if you don't have it in you, I think it's a personality that maybe of course you develop it because you have like people around you. It seems you're so small when you start, so you kind of are molded in a certain way, and there are people who can't, so just go do something else, and there are people who fit the mold that there is what they are looking for, so these people continue. But besides maybe I don't think the cybersecurity world is as competitive and at times a little bit vicious as the ballet world can be, because you get that big role that is like, oh my god, I always wanted to be on that role, and there are like 100 professionals who want it. Like your whole company wants this role, so they are like just waiting for something to go wrong with you so they can take it from you. Very hard. But and I haven't felt the same level of competitiveness in cyber, but I think that being competitive may, goes together with having like be ambitious. And being ambitious is a personality trait that allows you to always seek career growth. You are not happy with what you know right now. And cybersecurity is a field that requires constant studying. It's not something that, okay, I learned this, I'm done, and I'm just going to do my job. You need to be constantly learning. I think it takes a lifetime. I think one lifetime is not enough to know everything that it is to know in the field, but you can just do your best and pick something that you like and just keep doing. Be consistent, but don't be content in not recycling yourself and seeking growth. It's good.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Be consistent. Don't be content.
Exactly.
So, something else you said earlier. It seems so simple, but I think it's much more complex to actually get your head around. As you just said, just keep an open mind.
Keep an open mind.
Like, keep an open mind. Don't narrow your focus, narrow your goals. Right? Keeping an open mind. I mean, what are the chances that you at 17 thought, wow, by 30 I'll be a cybersecurity professional? Probably zero, right?
No. At 17, no way. My world was ballet only. I had no time for anything else. But yeah, even now, okay, I like even when I was still studying cybersecurity, I thought, oh, okay, I'm gonna study, I'm gonna get really good at this, and I'm gonna get a pen testing job. But my internship showed me another side of it, and I still like it. I love pen testing. I love ethical hacking. It's super fun. But by keeping an open mind, I started studying something that I was not familiar with, and I found out that I love it, and I want to get better at it. Yeah,
bringing the same dedication, skills, and competition, all the things from a professional athlete background into cybersecurity. It's just super interesting to me. So one of the things you and I talked about right before this stream started, a short time ago, U.S. News and World Report put out its annual listing of the most popular, ranked jobs. And let's see, information security analyst was the number one job in popularity, because it's taking a lot of things into account here, whether it's the pay, the hours, the education, the student debt that's required to go into it. And you come out with information security analyst. And that's slightly different from what you do, but you're very familiar with that role. And I wonder if you could just kind of expand on what an information security analyst does and some of the similarities and differences with your job.
Oh, sure. An analyst, when you talk about a cybersecurity analyst, they usually monitor. The analyst can be found, for example, on a security operations center, what we call the SOC. It's mainly a blue team role. They work on the defense side of the house, and they usually monitor networks and monitor infrastructure to like spot attacks or go through these issues. And the cybersecurity engineer, you work on the blue side of the house as well, but you work also on compliance, you work on risk assessments, you work on vulnerable, you go to the red side as well. Is more of a, it's not restrictive as a blue team role. It's more of a I don't know the best word to say it, but it's a role that entitles more tasks, more responsibilities.
Okay. Do you enjoy your job? I mean, it sounds like you do, but it sounds like you get a lot of.
Yes, I love my job. I love my job. I always keep busy, and having like working remotely, I think it's amazing. I can work at the time that I feel that I am at my fullest potential, that I feel better to just be focused. It allows me this flexibility. I love it. Oh, I'm never leaving. You guys are stuck with me.
Well, we are very glad about that. We're never going to let you leave, Lola. And I definitely would not let you leave any live stream for sure. We love you. And I want to get to a question. There's, let's see. A viewer asked, what is the difference between software testing and bug hunting? I imagine that falls under your purview. If you can just kind of break down these differences here. Software testing.
Software testing, you're testing about application malfunctions, and the bug bounty, you're testing against vulnerabilities. You're looking for vulnerabilities either in web application or mobile or networks or whatever the case is. And the software testing, you're mainly testing against malfunction. That's the difference.
Okay, that's the difference. What would you say is the most valuable skill that you've learned as you look on things now? And really, it could be anything from cybersecurity to, something you learned as a teenage ballerina. But what would you say is the most successful skill or skill set that benefits you today in your profession?
Successful, it said?
Yep.
I want to say keeping an open mind. But I mean, here we are talking about like the so-called good skills that I believe I have, like being patient and dedicated. But something that I still struggle with is communication. So I believe that improving my communication and speech, it's something I really very self-conscious. And I believe that once I improve it, it will allow me to be more successful. So that is something that is always on the back of my head. Of course, I due to my job, I have to be keep on my toes. Like I have to always be researching and learning new things and perfecting others. But this is cybersecurity related. But to be a better professional, I believe I have to really, really increase my communication skills and speech. I mean, I want to be you when I grow up, Catherine. You're amazing.
Well, I want to be you when I grow up, Lola. So we can switch places at some point. Yeah, and something that you just said there, you were talking about improving, improving from where you are now, kind of still focusing on learning and lifetime learning. What's next for you? Because you mentioned the ICCA, that you're studying that, you're looking into that. Obviously, that's not a cyber thing, that's a cloud thing. Or is that an area you're venturing into, or you just
cloud these days is a crucial skill in cybersecurity. You need to learn cloud. You know, if you want to broaden your expertise inside this area, don't make it that's another. I could be talking about this for hours. Sometimes I feel that people are too like this. Can you believe you have in your resume, you can do penetration testing, this and this and this, and okay, we understand you're an awesome penetration tester. But you have in your resume that you have business skills, you understand the business, you understand compliance, you have a red team experience, you know defense, the blue side, and that makes you a complete professional. Every company is gonna want you. Broaden your horizons. Don't be like this. Go like this.
Don't be like this. Go like this.
Don't be like this. Go like this. You see, that's why INE has it all. INE has cybersecurity courses in the same platform. You can study cloud as well. That is super crucial. I mean, the companies now are all going into the cloud. And it's not only on one cloud. You have multi-cloud. People are migrating. People are going all over the place with cloud. So you are going to be a cybersecurity professional in a company. You need to have a cloud knowledgement. So yeah, it is like the ICCA might be a cloud certification, but it is crucial skill for my job.
Yeah, and we've talked a little about that as we were launching the ICCA, how it really, it is beneficial to those in other disciplines, right? Cyber, networking, data science, what have you. But I love hearing it straight from you at how valuable it is. And I know yes, you're still working on studying, right? You said, are you taking it this weekend, next weekend, sometime?
I took the test one.
Lola.
Oh, don't do this. I took the other one and I passed. But I need to watch the video again. Yes, I took the cloud fundamentals, the INE cloud fundamental ones, and I passed. But I need to watch the videos again. I might be a professional, but I'm a student as well. You never stop being a student.
And that's why you're a successful professional, I believe.
So yes, I want to take the ICCA. And you asked me what's next. I want to go. I love cloud security. I kind of want to go deeper, get better in this area. I find it fascinating. Love it.
Awesome. All right. Well, we will follow along with your journey. We will definitely have you back here on the stream to update us on your journey. We're going to wrap things up, but thank you so much, Lola. Thank you for being here, for sharing your story, and just letting us get to know you a little better. You are just awesome 6 ways from Sunday. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And I want to give a shout out to all the INE team, especially the team that is responsible for this event, the weekly streams. Like, before I was only a moderator being in chat, but now being a guest, I get to see the whole process that involves all these streams that they are done on a weekly basis. And I want to give huge kudos to all the team. It's done on an extremely professional way. So it's, to me, it's an honor to get to be a little part of it. So big shout out to all the INE team that is responsible for this weekly stream.
Well, awesome. Thank you for all that you do for the moderating and just for being here and sharing your story. We love you, Lola. We'll have you back on here soon.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. And want to give a big shout out to our audience today. Thank you so much for all the great comments and the questions and just being engaging and awesome as you always are. Really, really appreciate you guys being here. And that is going to wrap up today's stream. Thank you for watching. If you missed it live, you can look for the replay across our social media channels as well as on the INE Live website. Quick plug, we'll be live again next Tuesday, March 29th with a special Women's History Month stream featuring the women of INE, something you won't want to miss. Be sure to like and subscribe on the social media platform you're using so you can stay in the loop for details when we do go live and those notifications as well. As always, bring your questions, get them ready. We'll see you next time. Until then, have a great week.